Today is for you if you are tired of the diet mentality, tired of beating yourself up over what you do or don't do related to what you eat and your relationship with food. I'm going to get pretty vulnerable, share with you my story, because I have people ask, why are you so passionate about intuitive eating, mindful eating over diets? Well, you're going to hear today why. Welcome, I'm Sheri Traxler with Nourish Your Life, author of Go Forward, 28 Days to Eat. What we're talking about today, move and enjoy life God's way. When I was a child, and I mean 9 years old, I bought my first diet magazine because the women in my family, that's just what we did. We dieted. And I did this to calculate to lose 2 pounds. Well, it wasn't just a phase. Unfortunately, it started a journey of yo-yo dieting, beating myself up, not accepting myself, sometimes even hating myself. I'm going to share some old journals. I've been a journaler all my life, and it really gives you an insight into how you thought when you were 10 years old and 20 years old. So let's dive into that. One of the negative consequences of dieting is we begin to tie our self-esteem to something that we have some control over, but our physical and our psychological forces driving us to feed ourselves, to fuel ourselves, is strong. Also, the boundaries that we don't want something outside of us telling us what we have to do. Well, diets are set up to do that. Diets are set up to say, you're good if you do this, you're bad if you do this. Diets are set up today to say, you can do this, you can't do that. So this was when I was in, this is from my 7th grade journal, which was just a notebook at the time. And I write in here, I feel much better today about myself. I ate 80 calories too much, but I'm okay. In 7th grade, that's how I'm judging myself. So if that has been you for part or all of your life, keep listening. Fast forward a few years, I'm 20 years old, I'm in college, I'm running cross country, and this is one of my journals then. This one, if I could go back and just hug this 20-year-old me, I would. I mean, I've done my work, so don't worry about me. I'm good. But when I go back and I read this, I think, oh, you poor young woman. I wrote, I hate my body. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Exclamation points. I am so gross. My body is so gross. Please help me change it, God, to a body that will help me love myself. I hate my body. I am bad! Exclamation point. This is what I'm writing in my journal because I haven't followed a diet exactly, or because where it was going in here, it was just the diet mentality is constantly hitting on you that you're not good enough. The diet mentality is constantly berating you if you don't do it exactly right. In here also, I go through several diets that I had gone on and beating myself up. This was classic, beating myself up over, well, okay, I had 1,200 calories, and if you're a calorie counter, you know that that's not very high. You know, I'd had 1,200 calories for a couple of days. I was running cross country, and then the next day I binged on donuts, thinking there was something wrong with me. I was writing in there, he's just like, why don't I have any control over myself? You know, all this stuff about, oh, I must have a food addiction. No, you don't have a food addiction. You're starving yourself for a few days, racing, and then you eat a few donuts. That's because you have not fueled your body. So let me get rid of this journal real quick. One of the negative consequences of all of that dieting in childhood and in young adulthood was it kept me separate from other people. When I would go to a party, I would be thinking more about what am I going to eat, what am I not going to eat, if I overeat, how much am I going to have to exercise tomorrow, than on making friends, than on being with people. And when I would be with people, there would just be this thing about me where I was disconnected because I was judging myself and everything that I was doing around food. When you are in the diet mentality, it is negatively affecting relationships. It is massively negatively affecting your confidence. Who knows what I would have been able to do had I not been constantly beating myself up? Who knows what you're capable of? You know what you're capable of. And when you stop beating yourself up and stop judging yourself over things like, oh, I ate 80 calories more today than I needed to, you end up having the freedom to pursue the rest of your life. In my 20s, I am blessed that I started recognizing something about this is not working. As I would go through these journals and look at them and think, first of course, it was what's wrong with me. And then it became something is broken about this system. And I saw 2 books, Diets Don't Work and Breaking Out of Food Jail, at the library. Those were actually the only books around at the time. Intuitive eating, mindful eating was not a thing at that point. And I realized, okay, there is another way. And it took me about 10 years to pull out of that, try and fail. And because it had been so ingrained in me, I did keep going back to it. I would go back to the dieting and then be like, no, okay, I tried a diet, it didn't work, so let's try intuitive eating again. And eventually was able to stop counting calories, stop analyzing everything I was eating, stop being totally consumed here or beating myself up in here, and then was able to go to parties and pay attention to the people, able to go to work and pay attention to work and be productive and not have always in the back of my mind something going on, either judging myself or analyzing. And what is so fun when it comes to the food itself is now that there's freedom, now that there's not all these rules, I can go to a party and not even be tempted by junk food because I know I can have it whenever I want it. There's no magic about it. There's no forbidden fruit syndrome going on with it. If that is something that you struggle with, if that is something that someone in your life struggles with, please get with a mindful eating coach, get with a certified intuitive eating counselor. I am one, and there are a ton out there. So find somebody that you can work with to help you with that so that your journey does not take you 10 years like mine did. I've had clients who made the journey in 3 and 4 months, others who were closer to a year making the journey, but it's not going to take you 10 years if you have somebody guiding you through that. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for listening to some of my past, and I hope that it has helped you realize you're not alone and you can overcome the diet mentality and get into a good relationship with food. Remember to subscribe, click that notification bell, and until next time, find your unique path and fulfill your potential.